It's tax time, and people are peeved.
I just did my tax return. I owe $3,249.10.
I don't understand how you tax me so much and then you're telling me that I still owe you money.
What in the heckity is going on?
What was once a joyful mid-year cash grab has turned into a dreaded tax debt.
Bitch, I got nothing else to give. Do you want my kindy next? That was a bit dramatic. Anyway.
And that's mainly thanks to the end of the LMITO, or the
Low and middle income tax offset.
The scheme, brought in under the former government to counter cost of living pressures, recently came to an end.
What does that mean?
Well, it means millions of Aussies on a pay packet of between $37,000 and $126,000 per annum, who over the past 4 years received a temporary boost in their return, are now opening a much sadder tax packet.
Wow. That's all that was in there.
And middle-class gals like Claire, who we heard from earlier,
Do you want my kindy?
are having to pay the ATO.
I really thought that it would be a nice moment because when I normally get my tax return, I think to myself, you know, I've paid my taxes, I've paid my bills, I'm a good citizen, and surely I would get a little something back. I haven't done anything different and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
It's a kick in the guts for those already struggling with the cost of living crisis.
Living costs are so high, so whenever I get an extra bit of cash, it just goes into savings for rainy days. And unfortunately, the rainy day seems like it's the ATO. The ATO is the rainy day.
Claire's plea to the taxman?
Just help us broke girlies out here. And it's really hard. It's really, really difficult. And just throw us a bone. Just give us a little something back. And also, please don't put me in jail. I don't think I've done my taxes wrong.
Well, the Tax Mermaid, aka Helen Francis, Australia's favourite accountant and Jan Fran's second favourite sister, joins us now. Helen, we will get to the tax returns in a little bit, but first off, your right of reply. Who is your favourite sister?
Oh, well, you know I can't play favourites. I hate them both equally.
Okay. I really thought she was going to be nice to me on the television, but turns out no.
Don't worry, Helen. I'll protect you from this. Jan,
Since when am I nice to you?
Not from you. Let's get into the tax talk, though, Helen, because people are getting surprise bills at the moment. Do you think that this outrage is justified?
Yeah, I would certainly say it's justified. Look, the main culprit for why everybody is receiving lower tax refunds or indeed maybe tax payables is the low and middle income tax offset becoming defunct. So after 4 years of that, everybody expected the same thing this year. And, you know, it was a tough pill to swallow when that's not the case, especially given rising rents, rising mortgages. You know, it would have been the year for it, if anything, this year. But unfortunately, it's a no-go.
Okay, Helen, let me ask you a question that I have certainly not asked you in real life, which is how do we avoid having to pay the tax man without breaking the law?
What are you talking about? You asked me that yesterday
Yes,
and maybe every other day of my life. I would really encourage everybody to just take your time. Don't rush to get your tax return in. Go through your bank statement if you have to, line by line, and highlight every expense that could possibly apply to your work, just to give you the best chance at increasing your refund as much as possible, because it's not going to be as great as it was in the last few years. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
That is some great advice, Helen. But I actually happen to know that you do Jan's taxes. So can you spill the beans? Has Jan Fran ever tried to claim something completely dodgy on her taxes?
Hang on, Helen, before you answer that question, before you answer that question, just remember that I am your literal family and I am your flesh and blood. And these people...
She has already said she doesn't love you as a sister.
These people are vultures, Helen. Proceed.
Look, you know I can't lie, Jan Fran. There's been a few things I would say, but I think the one that kind of is at the top of that list might be a recent one, actually. The ridiculous mop that you bought.
You tried to claim a mop?
It's like $1,000.
$1,000 mop?
A hybrid between a mop and a vacuum cleaner, and it was like, I found the transaction, I was like, what the hell is this? Is this a mop? And I was like, you can't claim a mop, you can't buy a mop through your company accounts. And she's like, but I need it to clean my workspace.
Oh, okay. And there is the clincher, my friends. I work from home and I need a tidy office and therefore I bought a very expensive mop.
Yes, but you work in a carpeted room, my friend, so don't know how that's supposed to fly.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. The truth vultures are fed. Helen, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I'm reminding myself not to rush. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgie. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pass them up.
Yeah. This is why you shouldn't have your sister be your accountant, because they just know too much about you and you can't lie to them.
And definitely don't bring them on television.
Yeah, that's the other
the other
thing.
lesson.